Every once in a while, there is a trade setup that is so clear and so straightforward that I get excited because I've seen it happen so many times before. I hope you're all having a great Labor Day weekend, and today's video is a little bit different. I'm going to lay out for you in detail what I think is a high-quality trading setup. Whether you're an experienced trader or a beginner, I hope that by the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of why I'm trading this stock. Of course, none of this is financial advice, and I am not a certified financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. With that said, I want to share 4 things with you in this video. I want to explain the thesis behind this trade and give you the overall setup. Second, I want to discuss potential risks that I see to this trade. Thirdly, I'll share some different ways you could capitalize on this trade because there are multiple ways to do it. And at the end, I'll share with you how I'm personally trading this setup. All right, let's get into it. So Tesla's highly anticipated Robotaxi event is scheduled for October 10th. This event is very important for Tesla because many investors are getting concerned about Tesla's current auto business, rising competition, interest rate sensitivity, lower margins, etc. Investors are now looking ahead to the future of Tesla and what the company could become as a leader in autonomy and AI. And this event on October 10th should give us a glimpse of what the future of Tesla looks like. Robotaxis are something Elon Musk has spoken about for a very long time, and robotaxi fleets equipped with full self-driving is a massive opportunity for Tesla. And at the current moment, there's not really any other company that can compete with Tesla on this front. So let's look at Tesla's chart. I want to walk you through how we got to this present moment, and then I want to share with you what I'm looking for as we move forward. So we can see that starting around June 21st, the stock had a beautiful run up. From the low on June 21st to the peak on July 11th, the stock ran nearly 50%. This rally happened because back then the Robotaxi event was originally scheduled for August 8th. Then Bloomberg reported that the Robotaxi event was delayed, causing the rally to end. And shortly thereafter, Tesla reported earnings that disappointed the street with lower than expected EPS, lower than expected margins, lower than expected free cash flow, etc. Additionally, Elon confirmed that the Robotaxi event was indeed delayed. So the stock gapped down following that earnings report on July 23rd. Later on in early August, we saw some panic surrounding the unwind of the carry trade in the Japanese yen, which pulled the entire market down, including Tesla. And Tesla reached a relative low back on August 5th. And now almost 1 month later, Tesla stock, in my opinion, is looking very nice for a swing trade. And that's something I want to emphasize really quick. This is a swing trade, meaning I intend to hold this position for longer than 1 day, but less than a full year. And I'll get into that in more detail in a moment. So considering that Tesla had such a beautiful rally when the Robotaxi event was scheduled for August 8th, running up nearly 50%, and now the event is scheduled for October 10th, I think it is very reasonable that we could see another rally in Tesla stock in anticipation of this event. Now, I don't know how much Tesla will rally, and I don't know the duration of the rally. It may not be exactly the same as the last one. Be that as it may, I think this is a very compelling setup. Tomorrow, Tuesday, September 3rd, will be 37 days before the event on October 10th. 37 days prior to the originally scheduled date of August 8th would have been right here on July 2nd. So I think the time of the rally is near. On the daily time frame, we recently touched the 200-day moving average, and you can see that we've curled back up after touching that moving average, which is very encouraging to see. Now, I don't know what will happen tomorrow when the market opens, and I'm not saying that Tesla will immediately take off like a rocket ship. It is possible. But what I am saying is that I think Tesla stock will begin to rally at some point in the very near future, assuming that nothing unexpected happens that would weigh down on the stock. So that is the basic overview of this trade setup. And now I want to talk about potential risks that I see to this trade. There are 2 risks that are specific to Tesla and 2 risks that have to do with the rest of the market. So the first and biggest risk to this trade is if Tesla were to once again delay the Robotaxi event. And I want to be fully transparent with you. If we get another Bloomberg article saying that the Robotaxi event is delayed again, then I will exit this position immediately as soon as I see that article. I want to be completely transparent about that. Last time Bloomberg reported that the event was delayed, the rally stopped, but people waited for a response from Tesla or Elon, and it wasn't until days later that it was finally confirmed that the rumors of the delay were true. So if we get another Bloomberg article saying that the event is delayed again, then I will most likely sell on that news. With that said, I think the event is more likely to actually happen this time because this past Friday, shortly before market close, Bloomberg reported that Tesla has chosen a location for the Robotaxi event. We didn't have specific details like this the last time around, and so that is very encouraging to see. This makes me think the event is indeed likely to happen on October 10th, and so my conviction in this trade setup is even stronger now than it was before. With event-specific details like this being leaked to the press, I would not be surprised if Tesla starts rallying again in the near future as traders become more convinced that the event is actually going to happen on October 10th. Now let's cover the second risk to this trade, and that is when Tesla reports deliveries in early October. Remember, many investors are starting to worry about Tesla's auto business, and so if these delivery numbers are not great in early October, then we could see Tesla trade lower in the short term on that news. So that is something to be aware of. With that said, even if Tesla trades lower on the initial news of those delivery numbers, I would not be surprised if the stock trades higher afterward as we get closer to the Robotaxi event on October 10th. Okay, so those are the 2 Tesla-specific risks, a potential delay of the event and the market's reaction to delivery numbers in early October. Now let's cover 2 broader market risks that could potentially weigh on Tesla. First, we have FOMC on September 18th, and the Fed is expected to cut interest rates and begin a cycle of quantitative easing. Now this is good for Tesla because lower rates means more people can afford to buy Tesla vehicles. Here's the thing though, the market has already priced in a 25 25 basis point cut at the September meeting. What market participants will be looking for on September 18th is any indication of whether or not the Fed will cut rates again later this year, and by how much. If Jerome Powell very clearly tees up more rate cuts coming later this year, that is very, very good news for Tesla. However, if Powell is much more vague and does not clearly communicate that more rate cuts are coming later this year, then we could see the market trade lower and weigh down on Tesla stock in the short term. So that is something to be aware of. And the fourth potential risk that I see to this trade is the upcoming election. More specifically, the market's growing worry and uncertainty as we get closer to the election. The market hates uncertainty. It is not unusual for the market to trade lower in September and October during election years as market participants start worrying about the potential outcome in November, and therefore they may take some risk off the table. So if the rest of the market trades lower during September or early October, then that will weigh down on Tesla stock. And so this is an important risk to be aware of. Okay, so I've given you a brief overview of my reasoning behind this trade. I've shared with you 4 potential risks to the trade, and now I want to share with you 3 different ways that you could participate in this trade if you wanted to. So the first and most obvious way is to buy shares of Tesla stock. The second option would be to buy Tesla call options, and a third way to play this trade would be to buy shares of a leveraged Tesla ETF such as TSLL, which is a 2x leveraged Tesla ETF. If you're thinking about buying call options, I just want to caution you with 2 thoughts to consider. If you're going to buy calls, make sure you don't buy a strike that is too far out of the money, and also make sure that you don't buy an expiration that is too soon. You don't want theta, aka time decay, to be the reason you don't make money on this trade. Now, if you don't want to buy options and have to deal with theta, implied volatility, etc., but you also don't want to just buy Tesla shares, then a third option would be to trade shares of a leveraged Tesla ETF like TSLL. TSLL is a 2x leveraged Tesla ETF, so if Tesla moves up by 1%, then this ETF should move roughly 2% higher. If Tesla trades down by 1%, then this ETF should trade roughly 2% lower. So during the recent Tesla rally, from the low on June 21st to the high on July 11th, Tesla ran nearly 50%. On the other hand, TSLL ran roughly 119%. So a leveraged Tesla ETF like TSLL could be a great alternative if you want some leverage on your position, but you don't want to have to deal with all the extra things you have to worry about when trading options, like time decay, implied volatility, etc. So those are 3 ways you could participate in this trade if you choose to do so. Shares of Tesla, Tesla call options, or shares of a leveraged Tesla ETF like TSLL. Now let me share with you how I'm trading this and how I intend to manage this position. So I've actually been slowly building out a position in TSLL over the course of multiple days. This past Wednesday, when the market panicked, and in my opinion overreacted, to Nvidia's earnings and after hours, I used this as an opportunity to buy shares of TSLL as Nvidia weighed down the rest of megacap tech in after hours trading. I noticed that Nvidia's earnings were actually fine, and I thought the market was overreacting, so I used that as a buying opportunity to build out the bulk of this swing trade position. I think it is very reasonable for Tesla to close the gap on the daily time frame that formed on July 23rd, and it also would not surprise me to see Tesla retest the relative high of $271 per share as we get closer to the Robotaxi event. If Tesla reached $271 from the closing price this past Friday, that would be a gain of roughly 26%. And if TSLL retested its relative high of $16.85, then that would be a gain of roughly 75% from last Friday's closing price. I'm not saying that all of this will happen. Nothing is guaranteed. I'm just saying that I would not at all be surprised to see a retest of the recent relative high sometime between now and October 10th. Now looking ahead, if I see another Bloomberg article saying that the Robotaxi event is delayed again, then I will immediately exit this position, as I explained earlier. As long as there is not another delay of the Robotaxi event, and as long as there is not any unexpected events that would weigh down Tesla stock or pull down the rest of the market, then I intend to hold this position until sometime close to October 10th. Once we start getting really close to October 10th, like October 8th and October 9th, then that's when I would likely start to gradually trim this position and take some profits. Please hear me well right now, because this is very important. I fully expect this rally in Tesla stock ahead of the Robotaxi event to be a buy the rumor sell the news type of event. What does this mean? This means that traders will likely buy into Tesla stock ahead of time in anticipation of the event, and we will likely see a pre-anticipatory rally in Tesla stock as we get closer to the event on October 10th. However, once the event actually happens, I fully expect many traders to sell their entire positions as they quote sell the news. They're likely going to buy the rumor in anticipation and then sell the news once the event actually starts, or probably even before the event starts. So my goal in this swing trade is to ride the momentum that is likely to occur between now and October 10th. I think it is very reasonable for Tesla to trade higher and close the gap that formed on July 23rd, and after that I would not be surprised to see Tesla trade higher and retest the previous relative high of $271. This is of course assuming that nothing unexpected happens to Tesla or to the rest of the market. Now let's summarize everything and put it all together. I expect Tesla to rally sometime between now and October 10th in anticipation of the Robotaxi event. We are now within the time range in which the rally is likely to start any day now. Additionally, we are starting to see event-specific details leaked to the press, which will likely increase traders' convictions that the event is actually happening this time. If the event is delayed again, I will exit this position. We also have to pay attention to Tesla delivery numbers in early October. We need to pay attention to what the Fed says regarding more rate cuts later this year. And we have to be aware of potential market uncertainty as we are nearing the next election. If the rest of the market trades lower, then it will weigh down on Tesla stock. There are 3 ways to participate participate in this trade, you could buy shares of Tesla, you could buy Tesla call options, or you could buy shares of a leveraged Tesla ETF such as TSLL. If you buy call options, just be sure that you don't buy a strike that is too far out of the money and make sure that you don't buy an expiration that is too soon. You want to give yourself plenty of time because you don't want time decay to eat away at your profits. As for me personally, I'm trading shares of a leveraged Tesla ETF, and at this point, I intend to hold this position until early October. I expect traders will likely buy the rumor ahead of the event in anticipation, and I expect traders to sell their positions either when the event starts or shortly before the event starts, whether that be a couple hours beforehand or even a couple days beforehand, depending on the trader. Please remember that none of this is financial advice. I do not know what the future holds, and I could be completely wrong. With all of that being said, I hope you've all had a great Labor Day weekend, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this Tesla trade idea in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.